Hi, I hope everyone's having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be presenting evidence, and I'm going to try really hard not to say anything without presenting the evidence, because AT&T advocates have been leaving information in the comments on my channel and also at Sam's Club. And I'm not going to use the word deceptive, because deceptive could imply that the motives are bad. And honestly, I don't know what the motives are. I will use the word untruthful if I were to guess, though, what the motives are. The motives are that these people work for AT&T, so they have that bias, and because they're trying to feed their family, they feel that this is the right thing for them to do. Me, on the other hand, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't have a dime in this. I don't have anything to do with the cell phone industry. But I am a person that when I'm in this community and people are coming into my community saying things that I don't agree with, and be that in my channel here or be that at Sam's Club when they come into my community, and they want to say, well, if you're not interested, just go about your day. Say you're not interested and go about your day. But no, this isn't just about money, first of all. And I think that's an important point, is if you're presenting things that are corrupting people's minds and getting people not to think critically, then we have an obligation to speak out about that.
So the $10 off per line
Yeah,
that you were talking about, the promotion,
that was offered before.
that was only for 25 months.
Right.
This right here, we give you $7 off per line the whole time you're with us. So if it's for 15 years, you're still getting $7 off per line. Like, that expired in 25 months.
Right.
So we've only ever sold the $10 off.
But what
25.
they told me is that you could renew it by signing up for another installment plan.
Yeah, but you would have to go off the promotions that are available at that time. That's why they changed it, because everybody was like, kind of getting upset because, like, they didn't know what their bill was going to be when that expired. So they just made it a set price the whole time you're with us. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, I understand why people would get upset with that.
Yeah, because, like, basically, like, it expired at some point. People were like, oh, well, I don't know what my bill is going to be, so I'm kind of...
But what they were telling us was that you could
like
sign up for another installment plan. In other words, get another phone.
But you would,
in other words, like, get another phone, and then it would kick back in.
No. You would actually have to get the promotions that they're running at that time.
Okay.
You see what I mean? That's why people got upset.
Right. So when they say, well, you just sign up for another installment plan, they have to be running a installment plan promotion at that time.
Yeah.
It's going to work for you.
Yeah. See, this plan, they just made it to where you get a certain amount of money off every single month for the whole time you're with us, and, like, so you don't run into any surprises.
Right.
So, like, maybe with the people who are getting $10 off, right, then they come back and they only get $5, and then they're mad. So they're like, okay, this is set for life, basically. As long as you're with us, you get this $7 off.
So these people who are getting upset were AT&T customers who didn't understand the offer that they agreed to. And I did not go around to different Sam's Clubs on multiple occasions recording until I found a rep who said what I wanted to hear. No, I only recorded one time. And I can vouch for this too, is that, like, the same thing happened to me. Is I spent hours of my time trying to understand this type of offer that he's in retrospect talking about, to multiple different sales reps explaining it to me. And I never understood what he's finally explaining now in retrospect about how the offer worked. So I understand absolutely why people were getting upset and how this wasn't explained to them. And so this idea that, oh, well, everything's there in black and white. Well, it is there in black and white. And you signed to it. Yes, that's all true. Everything's there in black and white, your agreement. You signed to it. Then it's emailed to you. This is what they like to tell you. It's all emailed to you, and you can look it over. And if you find something in there that wasn't accurately explained to you in that agreement, which is probably kind of confusing to go through, but then you actually have a window of time where you can back out. And that window of time also enables you, if the service of AT&T happens to be not working out for you, if the cell phone reception's bad, then you could back out for that reason too in that window of time. So I believe that's all true. I think they're even legally required to do that probably. So I'm not disagreeing with that. But I don't think that this empathizes with how the consumer wants to go about entering into arrangements where you have to look through all these agreements and make sure that there isn't something that they didn't tell you and then back out if you found something. Now, the other point I want to go over is maybe if you say, well, yeah, but AT&T is now, they're a changed company now. They're not going to do anything like that anymore. And that's an interesting argument. However, how I would respond to that is the problem is that in the comments that people are leaving on my channel, these AT&T advocates, none of them are admitting, yeah, that's how it used to be, but we've changed now. They're all saying, no, you're wrong. We've never tried to do anything that would mislead a customer. Like, that's what they're all like saying. They're totally trying to cover it up, trying to say, oh no, we would never try to do anything that would mislead a customer. And it's only in retrospect that they're admitting that, oh, we had to change our ways because, yeah, that was really kind of shady what we were doing. And so we don't do that anymore. And so the other reason why I'd say that this isn't a genuine repentance is that they're really still trying to pull the same type of shenanigans. And that leads us into our next clip.
So since you've been a Sam's Club member for like less than 2 years, we're actually gonna give you $7 off per line just being a Sam's Club member for that long.
So you said there was a $7 credit, right?
Yeah. So basically, since you're a Sam's Club member, you get $7 off per line, right? So that would save you $21 a month just for being a Sam's Club member.
So I don't know if anyone's surprised that an AT&T rep would say something like this, but honestly, this is what they say. And again, I only recorded one conversation, and I do have to say this, that especially more senior AT&T reps, sometimes I disagree with them more than the younger ones that are just trying to honestly present information, which is what I feel that this gentleman here is doing. So I want to say that this was a very positive conversation the whole time. And I'm not trying to throw him under the bus with anything he's saying, but these type of ideas he's presenting is what he was trained to present. And so really, even sometimes on my channel, it seems like more senior AT&T reps are trying to throw like, oh, well, that you just happened to talk to a representative that didn't know what they were talking about type thing. And no, I don't agree with that. It's not that. So I don't know if anyone's surprised to hear that an AT&T rep said this, but the issue with this is that if someone was trying to convey the idea that this is an offer that's only offered or is exclusively offered to Sam's Club members, this is not the wording that they would choose in order to say that, because that is not, by saying that you get this just for being a Sam's Club member. See, someone that has a good command of the English language realizes that those are two different ideas. Someone who's trying to express the idea that here's an offer that's only being offered to Sam's Club members would say, this is an offer that's only being offered to Sam's Club members, or this is an offer that is exclusive to Sam's Club members. That's someone who has a command of the English language. They know how to use the vocabulary of the English language appropriately to convey what they're trying to say. So it's really a hard thing that you're going to try to get me to buy, that for some reason these people, they don't have a good enough command of the English language to just accurately convey the ideas in English of what's being said here. What they're saying in English means that other than being a Sam's Club member, there's nothing else that you're required to do in order to get this offer. That's what you get this just for being a Sam's Club member means in English. I'm sorry, that's what it means. Okay, if you were trying to say this is something that's exclusively offered to Sam's Club members, you would say this is something that's exclusively offered to Sam's Club members. Okay, so the reason for not saying it like that, they're not really interested in getting the accurate idea over to the consumer. They're interested in getting a different type of idea over to the consumer. So let's play the next clip, and we'll show that obviously how he reacts when I start questioning the truthfulness of basically this line, which is their hook. This is their hook for their sales presentation, or at least part of it essentially, is that, oh, you get this just for being a Sam's Club member. And when I start, in so many words, questioning the truthfulness of the hook of the whole thing, it's interesting how he reacts. If I don't do the installment plan, do I still get the $7 credit? If
You would have to pour, like, what do you mean by that? Like, bring your own device over?
yeah,
Like,
or,
not get a brand new phone?
right. Say,
You would have to port over your number, like your number from whatever carrier you're with, into a new phone from us to get that $7 off.
right. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't get the $7 off. Yeah.
Not unless you switch like got a phone from us, basically. Yes, you're right.
So it's interesting how he answers this. So you could almost see the gears turning in his mind, and imagine that based on how he was trained, maybe he's thinking that he should try to convolute this a little more. He starts to try bringing up something about porting in or switching over from another carrier. A newsflash to everyone: if you stay with your current carrier and you don't switch to AT&T, none of this applies, right? So he finally does have to be honest and just say, yeah, you're right. So it's really hard to understand how someone can argue that AT&T doesn't try to get people to not understand really what's going on in order to sign up with them. I mean, clearly it doesn't seem like they want you to understand the other things that are involved in qualifying for this credit besides just being a Sam's Club member. I mean, they're literally saying, oh, you get this just for being a Sam's Club member. And also that he didn't volunteer the information. Well, you know what? You can actually sign up for a value phone. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that was one of the criticisms that was brought up multiple times against my previous videos, is the existence of these value phones. And really, I'm going to talk about how I think that this is a disingenuous excuse. This idea of these cheaper phones that you can get that would also qualify you for such an offer. Regrettably, I didn't remember to ask about the existence of these cheaper phones while the conversation was being recorded. But I have went to Sam's Club many times doing my shopping, and I've chit-chatted with the reps there. And one time I did ask point blank about this. And what I was told is that being that I have a Samsung Galaxy S, I have to trade my phone in for another Samsung Galaxy S. And I know that probably all the AT&T advocates out there, they're going to throw their own under the bus, and they're going to say, yeah, well, she just didn't know what she was talking about. But you know what? I don't even care anymore. Like, it's always the excuse. None of these reps know what they're talking about, ever. But okay, let's assume that she doesn't know what she was talking about, and it actually is possible for everyone to sign up for a less expensive phone in order to qualify for this deal. This is why I still think that this is a disingenuous excuse, is that even according to the comments explaining this that were left on my channel, the consumer still has to pay something out of pocket. So now it puts the consumer in a situation where he has to decide between taking the free phone, biting the bullet and doing that, or paying something out of pocket for a phone that isn't even as nice and still having to give up his current phone. Like, that's not that great of a deal unless it's qualifying you for some sort of amazing offer. According to the comment that was left on my channel, what kind of rate did it qualify them for? And this is point blank out of the comment that was left on my channel. It qualified them for a rate of, for one line, $40 a month going up to $45 a month after 25 months. So that's not that great of a deal. That, oh boy, you buy this phone and it qualifies you for such a great offer. So AT&T is coming into people's communities, be it at Sam's Club, be it on YouTube, and they're promoting these ideas that are not based on reality. They're corrupting people's minds, and they're trying to control what words people are allowed to use. And there's a comment that was put on my channel that's calling consumers out for using the phrase locked in, right? And these AT&T reps, they did this right in Sam's Club too, but I have the evidence now because they're doing the same thing right on my channel. They're calling consumers out because when I'm recounting to you how I'm understanding the offer that you're explaining to me, and I use the term locked in, come on, you know what I mean. But no, they're trying to corrupt our minds. They're trying to tell us how we're supposed to think and how we're not supposed to think. And the reason why people choose to use the phrase locked in is because they're trying to clue others in on the financial commitment that's created here. And there's nothing wrong with that. But according to AT&T, there is, and they're actually calling consumers out for this. But you know, this isn't why I went to Sam's Club, in order to be told how I'm supposed to think, what words I'm allowed to say. And the other point is the $1,000 value. This is the excuse that AT&T uses a lot. They say, well, if you leave AT&T and you have to finish paying off your phone that we're valuing at $1,000, well, that phone is worth $1,000, so you should pay it off, and you knew you were going to have to do that. You know, that's what they say. So I want to talk a little bit about this idea about that phone being worth $1,000 and how this is corrupting our society, and this type of idea that this phone was worth $1,000, even though a lot of people that are getting that phone are not paying $1,000 for it. They're buying it with their loyalty, right? But they don't want people to understand that it's actually being bought with people's loyalty. But just the idea that they're promoting, if someone brings it up about, well, if you leave, you have to pay it, and they're saying, well, yeah, but it's worth that much. So just the idea that this phone is worth that much is promoting this idea that it is that valuable because it can fill a void and really make your life more meaningful. And along with that, I just wanted to bring out the recent Surgeon General warning that was just released about social media. And you've probably heard of it because a lot of people, and it's crazy, but they're using this idea about how social media is causing in young people a lot of depression and anxiety, and they're using it as an excuse for more censorship. They want more censorship. They want people like me not to be able to release videos like this because young people are having problems on social media. But the real problem is that people are relying on these devices, social media, these phones, and they think it's going to try to fill a void in their life that a phone, that social media can't fill. And the other thing about it is this, is it's actually the time that people are spending on their phones because they have them. If they didn't have that phone and they weren't spending that time on their phone, the other things that they would find something to fill their time, right? And the other things that they would find to fill their time, those things would be more in line with what's healthy for a functioning human being. Because sometimes they're even taking it away from sleep. But no matter what these other things at the time's getting taken away from, the people are on their phones instead. This is a problem. So you get this $1,000 phone because it's faster or whatever, and it ruins your life faster. So you have this $1,000 phone that's capable of spying on you more. It's capable of ruining your life faster. It's capable of being more of a distraction. It's capable of being there for you so you could be on it instead of doing the things that humans function well doing. And and that's worth $1,000 to you. I understand that all the major ones are in on this, and that, even to quote from a T-Mobile commercial, you want these phones, right, so you can shine your brightest, they had Dolly Parton say. These phones are going to give you social acceptance, right? It's not coming from within. It's the phone that's going to give you the social acceptance. And it's scientific fact that when it comes to electromagnetic radiation, it's a risk versus benefit type thing. Well, we feel that there's benefit to having these devices, so the consumer is willing to take on some risk in order to do that. And we have to acknowledge too that some consumers, I mean, they might just be using their phone for making phone calls, and anywhere up. Of course, there's a whole spectrum of how people use their phones. But why would we stand against a consumer really being able to just make a choice based on what he feels is best for him as far as whether he wants 5G or not, by giving people a better deal who take the 5G phone? It's going against science. So this isn't an issue of, yeah, well, but it's just a sale or whatever. Okay, well, there's sales involved with this, but it goes deeper than that. It's more sinister than that. And so that's why this corruption of the mind here, and AT&T isn't the only big business that does this, but this is why we all have the obligation. We can't just go about our day like they're trying to say, well, if you disagree with it, just go about your day. Not if people are coming into our community and promoting ideas that are going to hurt others. You're just not interested, so we respect that. Just go about your day then, and we'll go about ours. No, they're not interested in talking to you because it's incriminating once you understand what's going on.